Welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. This is episode 2. In the last episode we set up some basic materials gathering. Now we've just created the research to do the smelter, and we're going to be able to start some basic automation. Before I do that, I just want to do some more harvesting of coal because my soup power was running a little low. And we've nearly emptied everything that was in our fuel chamber. As you can see, we're now getting lack of fuel, so we're not generating any more power for our suit. It is going down from what I'm doing, but I do have coal coming in that I can put into the suit. Coal's pretty early game power. As you move on and start producing stuff, there's fuel rods you can produce which create a lot more power for your suit, but this will get us through. Coal and oil will get us through early game if we've got access to oil. Okay, our suits, that's about enough to fill our suit up, so let's stop that and head back to our production area over here. Right, so this was our stone collection area. At the moment we're not doing anything with it because we've literally just unlocked the smelters. This was our copper production area, and this was our iron production area. And this is something that happens early game. They're all in close proximity. You haven't got a lot of room between them, so it's worth bearing in mind that in an ideal world, later game, these will all be spaced out. You'll have a lot more room for your processes. But we're still very early game, so this is fine. And what we're going to want to do now is to automate the process of going from ores to ingots. That's the first stage for us. And to do this, we're going to need some more conveyor belts. As you can see, we've got none. We've got a couple of sorters. We're out of storage. So first off then, let's replicate ourselves some conveyors. You're always going to need conveyors. As the game moves on, there's higher level ones that you can get. But for now, orange tier 1 is where it is. We'll build 20 of those. We're going to need smelters next. As you can see, they need a variety of things, so iron ingots, stone, stone bricks, circuit boards, and magnetic coils. Now, very early on, we're going to want to automate circuit boards and magnetic coils because you use those in so many things going on. But to start with, we've got everything we need to make 7 of them. We'll start by making 4. And that way we can have 2 on copper, 2 on iron. Iron's the basic material for practically everything in game, and if it isn't iron, it's copper. So you're going to get through a lot of it. Later game, it's nothing to see 20 or 30 smelters easily on one resource. But for now, 2 is about where it's at. Alright, logistics. We're going to need conveyors. Let's come up here. That'll give us a conveyor belt to supply ore to our smelters. We're also going to need a conveyor belt to take away the ore after it's built. Now, the further a sorter has to move stuff, the slower it is. So I could just put the output conveyor along there, but then it's going to have to move right over both of them. So for now, early game with just orange sorters, we're going to have the output conveyor on one side, the input on the other.
You built a smelter, which can smelt basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper ingots automatically. While you want to make the raw materials and products get in and out of it autonomously, you need to use sorters and conveyor belts.
So you use the sorter to get it in, like it said, and another one to get it out. And we're out of sorters. Let's build
You have
some
a
more
building
of them.
without recipe set. Please set the recipe you want. After selecting the recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
Just building some more sorters because we're out of those. And yeah, like it's saying, see this little gear, empty gear icon? There's no recipe. I can click onto that, select a recipe and tell it is making iron. Pardon me. Tell it it's making iron ingots.
After
And off it
selecting the
goes.
recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
It's now producing iron ore. We've just done the less than greater than, as it said, to paste that recipe onto the next one. And as you can see, no sorters on this one. We've got a little yellow icon there saying it's got a problem. We give it its sorters. It will start production, but we'll soon see that yellow icon come back. It's got nowhere for the output products to go. So it's just filling up its internal buffer at the moment. There you go. 16, 17, 18. You can see it building internally. So we need to give it a storage to have somewhere to go. Produce one of those. We can't produce any more because we're out of iron ingots. We're out of iron. But we've got... God, that's loud. We've got iron on the conveyor belt, so we can just take a load off there. That way we've got enough to produce a couple more storage. Right, let's just turn that volume down a bit. That's a bit too loud. That's a bit better. Okay, so have we got our storages yet? Yes, we have. Hop one down. Get a sorter. And of course, it's out of range of power, so get some power over here. And now we're collecting iron. All automated. We don't have to process that in our suit anymore. We can just literally come here, pick up iron ingots. What you can do if you want to speed things up a bit is double up on the sorters. That will then start collecting stuff off the line a bit quicker. We got 2 orange sorters putting stuff on, so even when these are backed up, that will keep up. It will just help as these finish emptying out their internal buffers. One will probably keep up anyway. Right, there we go. That's iron. Now to do the same for copper. What we could do is bring the copper over here, I think, because we're going to be needing the copper next as well. Or we could just put the smelters along here and have a conveyor belt. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put the smelters along here. 2 for copper. Sorters going in. Conveyor coming out. And we'll run that over that way. Put a storage down as well. Just waiting for the drones to finish building that, and then we can finish putting the sorters in, because you can't put a sorter onto something that isn't yet built. Okay, now we go and add a recipe. This time we're making copper. Less than, greater than. Oh, that's so good that that's in there. That didn't used to be in there. Makes life a lot easier. You used to have to go into it, click copy, go into the next one, click paste, and it was a bit tedious. Some of the other upgrades they've done are amazing later on in game as well. You used to have to manually delete and replace conveyors to upgrade them, or do them one block at a time. Now there's a mechanic to upgrade machines in place, upgrade conveyors in place, upgrade the entire line of conveyors, which is going to be a great help for us as the game develops. Right. Currently what we're doing over here, we've got iron going into storage and copper going into storage, but it's not coming back out. With automation in place, we can now turn around and also extract from these storage. And what that will do, lack of item where it sorters. And what that will do then is it will also put out what we've been storing up all this time. We didn't have anything happening. Let's produce another 20, well, another 10 of those. Get ourselves some copper and iron out of our storages. And that will save us having to make that. So now we've already got copper and iron in stock. We don't have to worry about doing that first stage of any process. And finally, let's do the same with stone over here. Need some more conveyor belts. As you can see now, it's not having to create the iron ingots because we've already got them. What we are having to do though is create gears. So we want to also automate that process, which is going to need another smelter that will take iron off the line and produce the gears. I think it was iron? Yeah, iron ingot to produce gears. And then we can have another storage where we keep pre-made gears. Right, conveyors. Let's just bring this one out. Smelter. Now there's a couple of things you're going to want to use smelters for on stone early game. For now it's mainly stone brick is where it's at. And we're running out of power in our suit again. So I'm going to run over and collect some more coal a minute. And that's us with some power again. Right. Okay, in a big brain move, let's just put another mining machine on this, replicate our process here, and then we can just literally come and collect a stack of coal whenever we need it. We've got enough for a mining machine. Let's see how many veins we can cover with this one. That's 6, that will do. I could have done it by here, but then that would have just left us with some odd ones on the end at a later stage, which can be a bit of a pain. Right, we don't need to go miles away. Now, that will do. Get a storage in. And a sorter, then we just need to get power over here. That will power them. Right. How far come? Where's our main? There, right. So let's see how far we can come this way. That's the limit. How far? That's the limit. And there. And once our drones get back, that's us with power over here. We're collecting, we're storing, and we can just start pulling out of there to throw in our suit instead of individually harvesting. Happy days. Right. Now we've got that process going. Let's bring another sorter on here because we are backing up on the line a bit. There we go, 3 sorters on there. That should stop that backing up. Yep, we're going down now. That's cool. And we can pull out stacks of coal now. Coal for days. Right. Get that in the suit. That's going to make life a lot easier and quicker and better. Right, back over here where we were sorting out our stone. Right, select a recipe. These are all the things you can make in the smelter. Iron ingots, copper ingots, magnets, stone bricks and glass. As time goes on, you'll get more options that you can build. For now, what I think we'll do is we'll have one making stone bricks, one making glass. And that will give us a good start. Now, what I can do here is I can have them stored in different places if I want. I could literally, instead of having them come out onto a conveyor belt, I could literally just have them come out into a storage. Or at least I could if I had any storages. Let's go and grab some iron. This is going to be live for a while, going back and forth, picking up resources from the different storages. So we'll have a few stacks of that, a few stacks of that. And that should stop us having to do that for a bit. Alright, let's do that for now. Let's just have them coming out and going into a storage. That way we can have one storage for each. Yeah, just make me that many of them. Of course, what we could do is have them coming out on conveyors. And the sorter has the ability to filter things. You can set a filter and pick what you want it to pick up. So we could have them all coming out onto one line and then pull off using that filter, glass into one, stone into another, which is fine until the line backs up and suddenly you're not getting any more glass because the stone one's already full. put those in, get ourselves a couple of sorters. And yeah, too close than I thought it might be. It wants it to be not that close, even though you can build it that close, it wants it to be one further out. Now this is one of the little niggles which gets especially awkward as the grids change towards the poles on a planet where you're trying to align buildings to do things like this, and it can get quite awkward. Right. So there you go. We've now got... No, we just need to... Oh, we don't necessarily need it yet, but we'll just put one on. So that way when... If we start taking more stone than this is producing, it will pull out as storage as well if we need it. So what's happening now? We're automatically producing and storing stone brick. We're automatically producing and storing glass. Same for copper. Same for iron. What we're not doing yet is making gears. So we can add another smelter and start doing that. So if we put the smelter here, give it a storage, and look at that, we're out of sorters again already, but we got enough to make 142 of them, so we'll grab 30, 40, whatever. Whilst we're here, we'll get it making some more conveyor belts as well. And now we can take from the ingot line into the storage and tell it to make magnets. No. Ah, that's right. I don't want a smelter for that process. I actually want to make gears. I want an assembler, which is a machine we haven't researched yet. So let's do that next. We want a basic assembling processes. We're going to need 10 circuit boards and 10 gears. As you can see, we've got none at the moment, so we'll have to manually make those in our replicator. Components, we want 10 of those and 10 of those. Now let's just take those off. We can put, they were just making conveyor belts for later. We can just pop those back on the end of the queue. As you can see, we've got circuit boards in place. We're making the gears for it. Our research is starting to run. Okay, thought we might be getting to that point. We're starting to see insufficient power, so we need to look at producing more power again as well. Yay! Basic assembling process is done! So we can now build assembling machines. Now, this is another process that you do in your suit. You can smelt things down, you can assemble them. Assembling them is putting more than one, or putting one or more items together. Let's see about doing that. Production, assembling machine. We get one as a reward, so we'll pop that in there. Make sure, it might be too close to the conveyor. We might have to move it. Let's see, can you reach? Yes, you can. And out there. And this is the one that we're going to tell to make gears. Because it's just going to take iron ingots off the line, produce gears internally, and shove them out to the storage. So straight away, we're now automatically making gears as well. Happy days. Right. Okay. So that was a basic assembling process. As you can see, as we do a bit more research, we can get onto high-speed assembling processes, which is going to need these things, which we're nowhere near yet. But that's to come. So that's like a tier 2, and then there's a tier 3 after that. Alright, so those things there, they're research, different types of research matrices that we're going to have to start producing to do higher tier research. Back at this level, they use basic components, but as you can see, you're going to start needing different cubes to produce things, and that is unlocked along here. So for instance, to unlock blue, we'll need to do this research, which requires 10 of those and 10 of those. Easy enough. I think we should probably start that one off as well. We got what we need in stock, so straight away it's already running. What other things have we got here that we can do? Let's have a look. So that will be our first research cube unlocked. We're already having power issues, so it might be an idea to go the power route fairly soon. What else have we got? Plasma control, which we need blue for. Well, hey, there we go. Unlock blue. Electromagnetic drive, which we also need blue for. So I think we're at that point now where we need blue cubes to do any further in our technology tree, which is fine. We can get blue going fairly soon. What have we got in the upgrade tree? I think from memory, oh no, we could do that one. That doesn't need research cores. And what this does, this increases our suit max energy core, which is good, so we'll do that. It's just going to need some iron and copper. We've already automated both of those, so that's going to be nice and simple. Pardon me. What else have we got here? Mechanical frame. So we're a little way away from that yet. That needs electric motors, but this will make our suit move faster. Inventory capacity. We're a little way away from this, but what this does, when you look at your suit inventory, it will add an extra line of items there, so that will be a good one to get done as well, because you can never have enough of those. So where were we? Right, communication control needs blue. That adds an extra construction drone. Energy circuit, right. We've got coal, we haven't got wood. Well, hey, Mecha Core 1 upgrade, so our max core energy is increased. That means we can go and shove some more coal in the suit and we won't run out of energy so quickly. But we haven't got energetic graphite yet. We haven't got logs, so that's something we can do in a bit, but we're not there. And what this does, it speeds up how fast it will consume fuel in your suit to create energy and refill your batteries. Alright. Drone engine needs blue. Drive engine. That will unlock flight for our suit, which is a good one to do. We've already got coal automated, so we can just go and collect 2 stacks of that. That's fine. Magnetic coils are not automated yet, but we're not a long way away from that. But first off, we need more power. Before we do that, let's go and put some more coal in our suit before we start running out of suit energy again. And then we've got to do something to increase our power on the planet in our power net. And look at that, nearly full already. So I think the suit will take 5 stacks. 4 stacks. There we go, that's our suit full. 1.8 gigajoules of fuel stored in the fuel chamber, and our total energy core is currently at 140 megajoules, so we can refill that a lot of times before we need to worry. Right, back over here. Where are we? Electromagnetic coils we wanted, didn't we? So that's going to use these 2 resources. We've got iron here, we've got copper here. Let's have a look at that. And it says we can make it in an assembler. No, it's a magnet, and that. So a magnet is iron ore. So we're going to want to smelt iron ore into magnets. Right. So a couple more smelters is needed. We've got one already. Let's just pop that one down. And we'll make some more. Get us another 3 of them. Right. We'll bring this conveyor belt along here. That will then feed these with ore. We're going to need another storage. And we're going to need some sorters. That there. And tell you to make magnets. And of course, we're out of range of power. Why wouldn't we be? And there. Build. Right. That's magnets being created. So to make electromagnetic coils, we need another assembler. As you can see, these processes can get very complex and intertwined very quickly. We're running low on iron, so let's grab some out. They can get very intertwined, very tied up very quickly, so it's like at the moment it's all quite tight, but what we can do at a later date when we've got planetary transport is produce long lines of these facilities that just do one specialized thing. Right, we now need to put our assembler down, which is going to pull out of that storage. It's going to need access to the copper. And then we can put out into another storage, which we'll put there for now. Don't be surprised to see this entire thing get rearranged multiple times before we get to mid-game. Right, electromagnetic coils. So yeah, great. Now our assembly machine's working on those. It's going to pull magnets from here, copper from here, put out the electromagnetic coils. I call them electromagnetic coils, they're just magnetic coils. They'll put magnetic coils into there, and that's one less process we've got to try and do by hand. So we've got a yellow icon keeps popping up. If we look at this, it will tell us that's because it hasn't got enough magnets. The reason it hasn't got enough magnets is A, insufficient power supply, so this isn't producing as many as it can. And B, I'm not sure that this doesn't use more of them. So yeah, 40 odd a minute. Than this can produce on its own. 30 odd a minute. Yeah. So we're going to need to produce more of those. But first, now we've got some of those, let's look at our power situation again. We've got gears. We've got magnetic coils. We've got iron. Alright, give us 15 of them. And then we can start putting those down, create more power, get over our insufficient power thing. And this is going to turn into a theme you see a lot of throughout the game. We're chasing one thing after another. It's like not enough power, not enough iron, not enough whatever. And you keep having to chase things, make amendments to create more of something or other to keep up with your production chains. And what starts looking off quite simple soon ends up getting quite complex. And fighting the need for foundation support, which is where it's on water and it can't build on water, or it can't build some things on water. It can build other things. So for instance, it's quite happy to build a conveyor over water, but building structures and that it won't. Now I could be laying all these out in a nice grid pattern and all the rest of it, but I'm not going to worry because we're not going to be using wind power for too long. Says me. They'll probably still be there when we get to end game. Right. How's our power situation looking? 100% satisfaction. We're producing 8.4 megawatts using, peaking at around 5.5 megawatts at the moment. So we've got some spare capacity for a bit. We don't have to worry about that just yet. Right, research, upgrades, where were we? Drive engine. Unlocks mecha flight. 60 of those, 150 coal. Well, we've got a stack of those. Let's go and get some more. As you can see, I can't fly yet. I can just jump. Let's go and get some more coal. Couple of stacks of those, and we can start this drive engine. Research, we got everything we need. It's going to take 3 minutes to do that research, and then we're actually going to be able to fly, which is going to help us get about. The next stage of that is where it gets really interesting. We're quite away from it yet because we require mecha core level 2 plus blue and red cubes. But once we do that, we can actually lift off the planet and fly to other planets. And then we get access to a whole new load of resources and different things. Alright. Did you see that then? That looks different. That does not look like stone. That should be titanium. Titanium ore it is. So we have tiny bits of titanium on the planet, which we are going to need before we can realistically start flying around and importing titanium from other planets. So when you see these big rocks, it's worth grabbing the ones that are going to give you some titanium. because you'll thank yourself end game. Well, I say end game, mid game. Okay, did you see that? We also got a kimberlite ore, which is one of the rare ores in game. If I remember right, kimberlite is for diamonds, which we're not at yet. Just waiting for it to finish this research and picking up a few bits and pieces whilst we're waiting. There's a plant, and that gives plant fuel, which is another source of energy you can put in your suit instead of coal. It's quite low energy density though. There you go, we get some plant fuel, we'll get some logs as well because we need them for one of those research items. You don't need logs for much in game, but that's one of them. There's the research. You can also use them as an ingredient for one of the things, if I remember right, in place of something else. For instance, there might be a recipe for it for, was it plastic or graphene or something, which is much more effective ways of getting once you can get off your planet. Well, hey, drive engine level 1, we can fly. There we go.
You have received the ability to fly. Double click the space key to lift off, and then use the arrow keys to control mecha movement. The moving speed will increase by 150%, with more energy consumed under flight mode. Pressing the Alt key can return the mecha to the ground during the flight.
As you can see, that used up quite a bit of our suit energy flying around there, and it's just building back up using some of the coal we've got in the fuel chamber. When you start trying to leave the planet and things like that, it gets a lot more intense with fuel usage and energy usage. Right, where are we going next then? Let's have a look at technologies. I think really, yeah, like I said, we can't go any further without blue. We should probably look at producing some of the blue. We've done the research for it, we just need to work out how to produce it. To produce it, we can make it by hand. It uses circuits and magnetic coils, or we can produce matrix labs. We've got iron, we've got glass, we've got circuit boards. Although we're still making circuit boards by hand, we could automate those. We're at a point we can produce a matrix lab. Should we do that and look at automatically creating circuit boards? That's just iron and copper. We've got both of those. That sounds like that could be a good time. Iron here, copper here. For now I could bung an assembler there. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Let's start producing that. Power. Will that cover everything? There, right. Let's make another assembler then, and let's start producing them. Give us 10 of them. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. We won't have to hand make any more for a while, because they all take time, they all add up. Hopefully we've just got a big enough gap to fit one in there. We'll find out soon. Otherwise we're gonna have to bring iron down here, which might not be a bad idea anyway, actually. If we bring iron down, run it along there. This is what I talked about earlier. It's going to have to pull it across too. but it will still do the job. Get iron out onto that line. Production, we now have some more assemblers. Put that there. Yet another storage. Make 10. As time goes by, you get access to bigger storage units. You get the ability to stack them higher, which helps. Right, so we're going to need to pull across there and across there. Set the recipe to produce circuit boards. Now you can see that the iron is going quite slow because it's having to, if I zoom in a bit you should see it. See how it's having to shoot across, pick one up, drag it back. It's going a lot slower than it does for copper. So what I think I'll do is double up on the iron. So that should hopefully keep up a bit better. It won't be such an issue as time goes on and we get access to higher level sorters. But for now, orange is where it is. It's not brilliant, but it will do to get us going. Right, this is still complaining that it hasn't got enough magnets. Right, let's have a look at that recipe again. This was for magnetic coils, and it needs 2 magnets to 1 copper. So I think we're going to need another smelter up here. No doubt, what am I doing? No doubt at a later stage we're going to have a lot more than just 2. But for now, it will get us going. That there, that there, that there. Less than, greater than, copy the recipe over. So there you go, we've got 2 smelters producing magnets. They're going into the storage. Let's put another sorter there. So hopefully now this will keep up and won't be complaining. Now of course there's no need to use a storage here if you don't want to. You could literally go straight from these into this. However, I do like to have a storage there because it does mean that if this starts to back up or whatever, these can keep producing and build up a bit of a stockpile, which you'll find later on comes in very handy, having stockpiles of produced resources at each stage, because you'll get a bit patchy on when things are taken away, and things will happen in batches where it won't produce anything for ages because it's all backed up, and then suddenly it'll need to produce thousands of them. So there we go, stockpiling. Right, it's still complaining about something. Product stacking, so it's full, we're not getting them out fast enough. Let's put another sorter on there. Hopefully now we can empty that quicker. Still seems to be taking a while. Let's have a look. I wonder if this is because it thinks that's a 2 gap. Let's try doing that. Take one of these off. That in there, that out there. Yeah, that seems to be working a lot quicker than that one. We're no longer product stacking. Right, happy days. Okay, now the thing to remember is, whilst I'm doubling up on these, every one of them is using some energy, like 18 kilowatts. So you don't want to double up on them unless you really have to, and in some places we really have to. So again, over here, we're product stacking because we're not getting them out fast enough. Let's see if we can improve things by the crafty introduction of a conveyor. That there. And just put it onto and off a conveyor. And of course, is that a range of power? Because why not? Right, pop another power down. And that stacking icon has now gone. Let's just add one straight across as well, and then between the two different outputs, yeah, it's going down. We're no longer product stacking. Now we're back to it not getting enough iron, but that's another problem. We're no longer holding it up. Right, power. How are we doing? Plenty of power. Soup power. Yep, good. These are the things you need to keep checking as we go. Right, let's have a look. What more research can we do? We wanted to get the matrix lab built, didn't we? So that's opened up the research tab. We've been given a matrix lab to get us going. And I believe that blue was these and these. So for now, it's just temporary. For now, let's turn around and put it between those. Put a research lab there.
Matrix lab. You can use it to make super matrices or research technologies that require them to unlock. The super matrices are the source code of the center brain for maintaining the homeworld. You can upload as many super matrices to the center brain as possible. You can be benefit to unlock more actual world technologies by operating the homeworld simultaneously.
Right, we should now have magnetic coils, circuit boards ready to be supplied to the matrix lab. We're going to need another storage. In case I didn't mention it, storage, storage, storage. Yeah, you used a lot of them. And that should be everything we need to start constructing blues. Let's have a look. So we can either create matrices. Currently we've only got blue available, the others are locked. Or we can do research. Let's create matrices. We're creating blues. And look, here they start coming. Oh yeah, woohoo! Happy days. We're creating our research cubes. I think that's a good place to leave it for this episode. And we'll just leave this running for a bit, build up a bit of a stockpile of these so that when we come back, we can do some of our research, move on in our technology tree, because we're currently blocked and can't do anything. And it'll be great to have you along and see what we research next. Thanks for joining us, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.